This
fuel,
conference will now be recorded.
keeping in light of higher energy efficiencies and lower pollutants, we are looking into different kinds of fuels. So with this background, I would like to open my slides with the contents. The presentation is having the contents of introductory details about the hydrogen utilization in diesel engine under dual fuel mode and the state of the art related to this field and objective of the research work in this field, research methodology, and how the research work has been carried out with the experimentation and results obtained, and those results will be analyzed. And with conclusions, I would like to close this uh, presentation. If you have any queries while presenting, you may kindly note down or you may kindly raise there itself. I will try to answer. If not, at the end of the presentation, I will be providing some time for clarification or any queries to be answered. We can go through at the end of the presentation. Is it fine? Hydrogen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hydrogen is a very clean fuel. Hydrogen is also called as a green fuel. Basically, hydrogen is a energy carrier. Truly speaking, technically, hydrogen is not considered as the fuel, but in original conversation, normal conversation, we say hydrogen as also a fuel, but it is a energy carrier. It is truly called as an energy carrier. In India also, hydrogen is being given a much importance. If you observe the National Hydrogen Energy Board, which constituted by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, New Delhi, they have initiated the report a policy, we could say. The Union Government of India created the policies for different kinds of fuel like biofuel policy and then renewable fuel policy. So in this regard, they created the Green Initiative for Future Transport, in which hydrogen utilization for transportation sector is one of the significant initiative. Another, utilization of the solar energy for different applications and electrical vehicles implementation. These are the major thrust areas which were created by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy Sources, Energy, New Delhi. As we have seen, different gaseous fuels like CNG, LPG, RNG, butane, among all those fuels, hydrogen have some peculiar benefits. Hydrogen have some peculiar benefits. Usually, any fuel is to be employed either in spark ignition engine or petrol engines or diesel engines. That is being decided based on its octane rating or C10 rating. Suppose if I have X fuel, I don't know the name of the fuel, I don't know the characteristics of the fuel, I don't know anything about the fuel, but I have something in my mind or something I have with you by doing some experiment or by innovating technology, I could find some fuel. If this fuel is being used in engines, where I need to employ this fuel, in which engine, whether it is to be employed in petrol engine or to be employed in diesel engine. For this decision, I need to get to know the its octane number or C10 number. Say I have find out the octane number and then C10 number of the fuel. I may explain later, or you can refer any literature or go through the website for what octane rating, what C10 rating is called, is term, and how it is to be determined. as it is out of context, I'm not going through. Say for any fuel, unknown fuel, if its C10 number is high, then that fuel is usually being applied in diesel engines, in CI engines, compression ignition engines. If any fuel is having high octane number, then that fuel is being employable in spark ignition engines, SI engines or petrol engines. SI engine or petrol engine, both are same. Diesel engine or CI, compression ignition engine, these are same. Usually the fuel that we are getting at the petrol outlets right now in India, if you are purchasing the petrol is having high octane number, which is around 80 to 85. In metropolitan cities or in cities, you will get high octane number petrol. If it is villages, you may be little lower octane number fuel you are maybe getting. If you are filling up the diesel in your vehicle, the diesel is having C10 number of 55, 54 or 56. This is the usual rating of the currently available diesel fuel in India. So whatever may be the octane number, C10 number, once if I know the octane or C10 number of the any unknown fuel, if it is octane number is high, then I can employ in spark ignition engines. For hydrogen, octane number is very high. Octane number is very high. It is more than 100. This fuel, as per the concept, as per the fundamental concept, this hydrogen fuel has to be used in petrol engines, in spark ignition engines, because its basic octane number is high. Its C10 number is almost equals to 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes it is 1, depending upon the quality and where the hydrogen fuel is being available. Its C10 number is low. So on the basic principle, hydrogen should not be used in diesel engines. Now, you might be asking or you might be wondering why hydrogen needs to be used in diesel engines. Why this kind of research, why these kind of future activities are to be done? Can anyone answer? Can anyone respond?
Sir, one of the main reason is due to depletion of the conventional fuels.
Okay.
Since it is very much need to replace the conventional fuels and to reduce the emissions due to increase in the numbers of vehicles, automotive vehicles.
Okay, good. Now my focus, what I mentioned here, hydrogen with high octane number is generally used in spark ignition engines, petrol engines. My question is why the hydrogen is being used in diesel engine. Why? What is the need of using hydrogen in diesel engine? That's what my question. Your perspective is okay as we are in depletion of conventional fuels.
Okay.
It may be used in this.
Okay, sir. Sir, hydrogen in diesel engines also is very much essential because diesel engines are heavy duty vehicles. Most of the applications are they are employed in most of the applications. Sir. Another one more is that is hydrogen's energy is very high, so that it can be applied easily in diesel engines.
Okay, very good. I do agree with your first point. As hydrogen diesel engines are used in many applications, heavy duty applications, because of which we can use hydrogen in heavy applications.
It has high flammability limits, sir.
Pardon?
It has high flammability limits.
high
Sir, without
flammability limits. Okay.
sir, my answer is hello, sir.
Yeah.
Without modification of the engine, to use the hydrogen fuel.
Okay. In diesel engine.
Yes, in diesel engine without modification,
Okay.
we must able to use the hydrogen.
Okay. This is not possible. We need to modify slightly. To certain extent, certain amount of hydrogen can be used without any modification. But if you want to use high amount of hydrogen in diesel engine, then modifications are required. Modifications are required. Okay.
What are the
As
modifications are required, sir?
Yeah, please.
What are all the modifications are required for using diesel engine? In case for hydrogen, suppose we are going
Okay.
to use in diesel engine, what are all the general modifications are required?
Yeah, very good. That is what my presentation. I will open and then you kindly wait for maybe a couple of slides. I will explain. Modifications are required if you want to substitute high amount of hydrogen. For small amount of hydrogen, no need of any modification in the diesel engines. Okay. Okay, some of your points are valid and one or two points are not favorable to the question what I mentioned here. Okay, let me put up my point. As I mentioned, hydrogen is the best fuel for petrol engines. Hydrogen is the best fuel for petrol engines because it is having high octane number. If any fuel is having higher octane numbers, it gives higher energy efficiency. It may also leads to lower pollution levels. So hydrogen is, if you use petrol vehicles, then definitely it gives the more benefit. It offers many benefits. However, we are using hydrogen in diesel engine because in our India, diesel consumption is high. Are you able to see the second table? India is a diesel driven economy. Last line, are you able to see diesel to gasoline ratio?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay, very good. Diesel to gasoline ratio in India, it is 6:1. Means 6 liters of diesel we use for every 1 liter of petrol. In India, in USA, diesel is being used 1 liter, petrol is being used 2.2 liters. In the world, entire world, average use of diesel 1 liter and petrol 1.1 liters. So as per the Indian context, as we use more amount of diesel, in other sense, we use heavy duty vehicles, diesel engines. We use diesel engines in all heavy duty vehicles. If you observe buses, trucks, transport vehicles, mass transportation, public transportation, even if you observe marine transportation, ships, if you observe rail transportation in which I am walking through, in locomotives, diesel is being used. You know, largest consumers of diesel in India, one of the largest consumer is railways. They consume almost 35 to 40% of the total diesel in India for railways. Next, many heavy duty vehicles are run with the diesel engines. So if you use hydrogen, which is having high quality, hydrogen is just like a elephant. Elephant is having high amount of energy. Elephant can do any big amount of work. Elephant can produce high amount of energy. In the same way, hydrogen can produce high amount of energy. As I compared with the diesel, hydrogen is having 3 times higher energy. Diesel, if you burn 1 kg of diesel, if you burn 1 kg of diesel, it produces almost 40 to 43 megajoules of energy. Roughly, we can remember 40 megajoules of energy if you burn 1 kg of diesel. If you burn 1 kg of hydrogen, it produces 120 megajoules of energy, almost 3 times higher than the diesel. So, if you use hydrogen, hydrogen is also having higher another benefit of some of the faculty mentioned higher flammability limits. Not only higher flammability limits, hydrogen is having many other benefits, like it produces no carbon pollutants, no carbon emissions. Hydrogen itself doesn't having any carbon element. H2 is not having any carbon element. It does not produce any single amount of carbon based pollutant like carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, methane emissions, smoke emissions, all these kinds of carbon dioxide, CO2, all COX, all these carbon based emissions are almost negligible with application of hydrogen. So being high advantageous energy carrier hydrogen, if you employ all these benefits in diesel engines, then we can cater the high energy demand in India. So as per the Indian context, use of hydrogen in diesel engine is very much essential. Use of hydrogen in diesel engine is very much essential. As I said, hydrogen is basically applicable for petrol engine, but we are just reversing its application in other field, other domain, in diesel engine domain, because we need to capture, we are in the aim of capturing the high energy fuel and employ in the our context, Indian context. This, we cannot simply employ hydrogen in diesel engines. In petrol engines, we can use hydrogen even with 100%. Full amount of petrol is being replaced in case of petrol vehicle engines. In petrol vehicle engines, we can simply use hydrogen 100%. But this is not possible with diesel engines. Using hydrogen in diesel engines is having certain complications. One of the major issue is we cannot utilize full hydrogen in diesel engine. We cannot utilize full amount of hydrogen in diesel engine. Means full amount means what I mean to say, I cannot fully replace diesel with hydrogen. Like I do petrol, I can remove the petrol tank in petrol vehicle, and I can employ the hydrogen tank and supply the hydrogen fuel to the petrol vehicle. The petrol vehicle runs. The same thing cannot be done in diesel vehicles. In bus, I cannot replace diesel tank with a hydrogen tank. Diesel tank cannot be replaced with a hydrogen tank. Hydrogen cannot be used fully in diesel engines. What is the reason? Can anyone guess? Why can't we use full hydrogen in diesel engines? Can anybody guess the reason?
Gaseous combustion.
Better combustion. Yeah, maybe due to combustion issues. Yeah, very good. Combustion issues are the major problem.
So this may be due to the proper. Sir, I'm audible.
Hello?
Yeah, please. Everyone is audible. Whoever
Sir,
is opening.
hydrogen will combustion at room temperature only.
Combustion at room temperature.
Yes.
Means, can
This
you
may
elaborate?
be due to the improper mixing of the hydrogen to diesel.
Okay.
Maybe this is the main problem of concern when we are just input the hydrogen with diesel fuel, and maybe this affect in the combustion process also.
Okay. Yeah. One issue we discussed. You have raised the combustion issue. Hello.
The self-ignition temperature of hydrogen is high, so that we need to add any one of the additive to the hydrogen for getting the ignition. And if it is in the spark ignition again, we can get the spark from the spark ignition. In the CI engine, if we raise the temperature and pressure, then it will lead to sir, other explosive conditions.
Very good. You have almost reached to the point. Very good. Very good. Well,
Thank you, sir.
yeah. As hydrogen is having high self-ignition temperature, or we could say auto-ignition temperature, high auto-ignition temperature. Roughly, auto-ignition temperature or self-ignition temperature of the hydrogen is around 500 degrees centigrade. 500 degree Kelvin. With the in the diesel engine, as I starting only I have mentioned, in diesel engine combustion is being initiated because of the temperature rise due to the compression. See, if air is being compressed, temperature is being rise. With this compression in the diesel engine, the temperature is maybe rising to around 200 degrees centigrade or 220 degrees centigrade, or maybe at the most 250 degrees centigrade. This temperature is sufficient enough to ignite the diesel vapor, diesel fuel. However, this temperature is not sufficient enough to ignite the hydrogen. To ignite the hydrogen, a particular amount of temperature has to be raised. So with the compression, whatever the temperature is raised, that is not sufficient. Because of which we cannot use hydrogen in diesel engine. Fully, we cannot use hydrogen in diesel engine. We need certain ignition aid, certain ignition supplementation. Like in kitchen, in our home, we do a spark while starting of your kitchen cooking, while burning, while starting a stove, you just give one spark. That spark is enough to burn the entire LPG, entire butane, or entire the gases. If it is PNG, entire gases. In the same way, in spark ignition engine, in petrol engine, you use spark plug. It creates the spark. The spark is enough to start the combustion. In case of diesel engine, the spark is not being there, so ignition cannot be initiated. Ignition, combustion cannot be done by itself in case of compression ignition engine or diesel engine. In order to address this issue, either we can provide any external spark plug in the diesel engine, or you can use small amount of diesel for starting of the combustion. Once combustion is started, then it spreads throughout the combustion chamber. It spreads. Suppose in the combustion chamber, I have some 100 units of hydrogen particles. 100 hydrogen particles are there. If one particle is being ignited, that spreads the ignition or combustion to other hydrogen particles. So that burning of one particle, combustion of one particle, or ignition of one particle is being done by a small amount of diesel fuel. Small amount of diesel fuel. As I said, diesel fuel can ignite by itself with the temperature rise because of the compression in diesel engines. So that diesel small fuel is the initiator of the entire combustion, initiator of the entire combustion. With one matchstick, we are burning the entire village. One matchstick is equals to small amount of diesel fuel. The entire village is equals to referring to the hydrogen fuel. That is why there the concept of dual fuel comes into the picture. As I am using diesel and hydrogen, both fuels I am using in diesel engine. So the concept of dual fuel engine arises. Dual fuel in the name itself indicates two fuels are being used simultaneously. Again, I would like to mention a basic difference between bifuel engines and dual fuel engines. You might be aware of CNG petrol fueled vehicles. In cities, wherever CNG infrastructure is being laid, like Delhi, even in our city, Vadodara, in many Bombay, Hyderabad, many metropolitan cities, in Vijayawada, in many cities, you have a CNG fuel, autos, CNG fuel buses, transportation fleet, you can see. A CNG can be CNG and petrol. Both are used in the vehicles. Both are used in the vehicles. If CNG is not available, you can run the vehicle with the petrol. And those vehicles are called bi-fuel engines based vehicles. Bi-fuel engines are different than the dual fuel engines. In bi-fuel engines, we use one fuel at a time. We use one fuel at a time. Either we use petrol for producing the energy, for running the vehicle, or we use CNG. Either we use CNG or petrol. Both fuels at a time cannot be used in those vehicles or in those engines. Those are called bi-fuel. Now here, as I'm mentioning, this concept is dual fuel engines where we use diesel, hydrogen, both fuels at a time. Simultaneously, we use two fuels, hence this concept, the dual fuel technology has been raised up. Now, why I'm using diesel? As I mentioned, it is the initiator of the combustion. If I use diesel, then I cannot ignite. I cannot ignite the hydrogen. I cannot combust the hydrogen. Other options are there. I can put a spark plug or I can keep some other external media to initiate the combustion. So one of the easiest way of burning the hydrogen is simply add some small amount of diesel in the engine so that it will initiate the combustion and it spreads out the entire combustion chamber. Now here, let me introduce one more word. Diesel is being used in very small quantity, so it is called as a pilot fuel. Pilot fuel for starting of the combustion. Hydrogen is being the fuel which supplies the major amount of energy to drive the vehicle. So hydrogen is called a main fuel. Hydrogen is main fuel. Diesel is a pilot fuel. Diesel is the pilot fuel which is helpful for starting of the combustion. Now, here you can see the dual fuel basic concept where hydrogen is being introduced in the intake manifold and diesel is being injected at the in the combustion chamber directly. One of you asked rising what were the modifications need to be done in utilization of hydrogen in diesel engine. So here one of the slight modification is we can supply the hydrogen through intake manifold. Here this modification you need to do. Modification you need to do at the intake manifold. Diesel is being supplied as usual by the conventional diesel fuel injector. Both fuels can be used. This is one kind of hydrogen employable strategy. Another strategy can be used. Hydrogen can directly be introduced in the intake manifold. This is called intake manifold. Can you able to see my cursor? Cursor is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is called the intake manifold. Here also you can introduce the hydrogen. This is another second strategy. And third strategy, this is called combustion chamber. In this combustion chamber, also you can introduce the hydrogen. So usually these three strategies could be employed directly in the combustion chamber or in the intake manifold or in the intake port or in the intake manifold. These are the three options available for introducing the hydrogen. So whatever the modification you do, this is one of the modification. Another modification is compression ratio. As you are all aware, compression ratio for diesel engines is the high. So that has to be reduced if you want to employ hydrogen. Compression ratio has to be reduced. For this, again, you have different options. Either you change the combustion chamber area by replacing the piston geometry or by doing some arrangement in the cylinder head. So whatever the arrangement you do, whatever the technology or methodology you adopt, basically you need to reduce the compression ratio. Even in use of SI engine, petrol engine. In petrol engine, if you want to use hydrogen, there also you need to reduce the compression ratio. The same compression ratio cannot be used. In petrol engines, petrol vehicles, compression ratio is usually in the range of 8:1 to 12:1 in case of petrol engines. In case of diesel engines, compression ratio is in the range of 16 to 23. 16:1 to 23:1. For hydrogen application, this compression ratio has to be reduced. In SI engines, in petrol engines, it will be reduced to 6, 8, maximum you can use 8. Now advanced engines, they are using even 10, 11 also. In case of CI engines, the compression ratio actually it is about 17, 19, 20, 21, 23. So that has to be reduced down to maybe 15, 16, 17. So this is another major modification that you need to employ. This is second modification. And third is safety aspects. Some safety aspects has to be added while hydrogen is being employed. As around the engine, you can find the high amount of heat. Even if you stand at the engine point of your vehicle, you can feel the temperature. Even if you touch the bonnet, you can feel the high temperature when the vehicle is being operated or after some operation. Means high amount of temperature, high energy is being released that causes high temperature. So this, if the hydrogen fuel is being exposed to any slight kind of spark or sometimes the tolerable temperatures, then accidents may happen. So safety aspects is the another third modifications that you need to do other than the basic engine configuration. Okay, let us move ahead. Many dual fuel engines can be found in practical. Already some commercialized dual fuel engine are also available in power generation sector, even in transportation sector. Some of the companies I have mentioned here. As I mentioned, many advantages are there with the dual fuel technology, you can use 100% diesel if hydrogen is not available, or any low inferior quality fuels like LPG, CNG, which are having lower calorific value, can also be used in dual fuel technology. Instead of hydrogen, you can also use CNG, LPG, and RNG. These kind of fuels can be used. Even biogas, which is being generated from the waste, can be used in diesel engines under dual fuel mode. Hydrogen can be produced from various kinds of resources, starting from any waste, any organic waste material to water. With simple water also you can produce. Higher thermal efficiency, carbon emissions zero, less smoke emissions. These are all the different advantages. However, as we discussing, major hurdles, major difficulties in use of hydrogen in diesel engines are higher NOx emissions. Though carbon emissions are zero, NOx emissions, oxides of nitrogen, NO, NO2, NO3, these kind of emissions are high in case of hydrogen fueled vehicles. And combustion problems like abnormal combustion is the biggest problem in utilization of hydrogen in diesel engines. So we need to tackle these disadvantages, these hurdles, while implementing hydrogen in diesel engines. As time is limited, just I'm skipping the state of the art. You can go through the literature where you can find use of different kinds of fuels, not only hydrogen like natural gas, biogas, producer gas, synthesis gas, LPG can also be used in diesel engines under dual fuel technology. If you observe the literature, if you go through the state of the art, you can find that hydrogen was used in diesel engines with less amount, with less quantity. So maximum amount of energy is being used at 100% load. At full rated load is 16% in the literature in diesel engines, without modifying, without any major engine modifications, without any other kind of strategy employed in diesel engines, we can use about 16% of hydrogen energy. 16% of hydrogen energy. Some people have achieved up to 14% of hydrogen energy in diesel engines without having major modifications. This is what the literature, conclusions from the literature. With that conclusions in the state of the art, we can have the future ambition, future objective is to enhance the hydrogen energy share in the diesel engine from 16% to a higher limit, from 14, 12, 16%, which was reported in the literature, to higher limits. Without changing any engine configuration, I can add hydrogen in the engine up to 16% energy. That is what literature says. Now my research target was to enhance this limit to higher limits. Higher limit may be 20% or higher limit may be 30, 50, 60, 70, 80 by employing even with a small modification or some additional technology or some additional equipments with the diesel engines. So these are the main goals: enhancing the amount of hydrogen supply with different strategies and comparing the different strategies. For this, research methodology is basically about developing the experimental setup and then conducting the experiments on the basic engine without changing any modifications by employing the hydrogen, and what is the tolerable limit with my original available engine, that I need to find out. And in third stage, I need to employ any additional technology or additional media additional fitment so that I can enhance the hydrogen energies to higher levels. For this target, research target, I have mentioned the total experiments in terms of 5 phases. In first phase, a basic amount of basic configuration of experimentation has been done, which is called conventional dual fuel mode, where hydrogen and diesel has been used to little extent, and hydrogen as the main fuel, diesel as the pilot fuel at all loads, engine loads. In second phase, I will be conducting the experiments with different strategies like using biodiesel or using water injection or by retarding the fuel injection or by using another strategy called gaseous homogeneous charge compression ignition. These are the different ways to enhance the hydrogen energy share in the diesel engine. In phase 3, I did the experiments by varying the compression ratio decreasing. And in phase 4, with optimum of second stage and the water injection. In fifth phase, concluding with the stage. However, here I am going to explain only 4 phases of experimentation. This is the actual experimental setup that was developed in IIT Delhi in Center for Energy Studies. This is the basic diesel engine which was coupled to the eddy current dynamometer, and here you could see hydrogen cylinder, a red colored cylinder hydrogen, which is being connected to the gaseous flow meter, which gives the amount of hydrogen consumption, and some safety valves, hydrogen flashback arresters, and some safety parameters have been incorporated in the hydrogen gaseous line, and the engine also being coupled with the various emission measuring instruments and some safety aspects. Here you can see a flashback arrestor, which is basically a safety device, hydrogen safety device for any kind of flashback, any kind of fireback from the hydrogen which is being inducted in the intake manifold. And here you can see the diesel measuring diesel fuel flow rates and air fuel flow rates. So the basic experimentation is consisting of my measuring parameters related to the fuel, related to the air, and related to the water, and related to the biodiesel, whatever fuel that I am being applied, and related to the pollutants. These are the basic measuring devices, measuring domains that I have shown in the picture. This is the schematic diagram which clearly represents the entire experimental setup. With this, you can still clearly understand this is a hydrogen line from cylinder to flow meter, flashback arrestor to the hydrogen gas injector, which is being controlled by the electronic control unit, and hydrogen is being injected in the intake manifold. And this is air flow line, air consumption, and this is fuel consumption line. As I mentioned, other water is being also inducted. So water is being also measured by employing the water in the intake manifold or intake port. These are the technical specifications of the engine which I have used for the experimentation. Now you try to understand this flow chart, which gives the entire experimentation picture, entire research methodology, entire overview of the work, where A baseline experiments have been conducted in the phase 1 with the base compression ratio of the mentioned engine, which is 19.5:1. This is the basic compression ratio. With this phase 1 experimentation, my objective is to find out the tolerable hydrogen share. Tolerable hydrogen share means without disturbing the engine, without disturbing the combustion part, without disturbing the efficiency, without disturbing the emissions, how much amount of hydrogen can be substituted, how much amount of hydrogen can be added in the engine. That is what my first goal in the first phase of experimentation. Once it is known, maximum hydrogen energy is being known with the first phase experimentation, then with the results, preliminary results, I can
बहुत धीरे धीरे आवाज आ रहा है
धीरे धीरे आ रहा है maybe a network issue. Now it is okay.
यस सर इट्स
Let me speak.
इट्स फाइन सर
Yeah, let me speak little louder.
Not issue is not issue, sir. Someone is talking with
Yeah, it is a problem with others also.
Your
sir, no,
voice
sir.
is very clear and audible. No issues at all with you.
No issue, sir. It's audible.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. I am little.
You are audible, sir. You are audible.
Sir, audible, sir.
Good, good. Thank you. So try to understand this flow chart. I'm little bit in the mood of rush because many slides are ahead. But try to understand. I will try to provide the concept so that you can get the clutches of the work. In second phase, once after knowing the basic preliminary data that my actual engine can absorb the hydrogen this much share, say it is 16% or 17, 18%. By knowing this result, now I need to add some more technology, some more strategy or some more methodology in order to boost up the hydrogen share in second phase by using this other technologies, applying biodiesel and applying retardation injection, applying gaseous hydrogen, homogeneous charge compression ignition, HCCI mode, water injection mode. With this, I can find I can increase some amount of hydrogen level. And in third phase experiment, by reducing the compression ratio, still I can increase some amount of hydrogen. So by getting these two results, after comparison, I can get the advantage of this second phase experimentation. I can apply the advantage of, I can take out the advantage of third phase experimentation, and then I try to push these two benefits and combine in fourth phase experimentation so that at final I can increase hydrogen at higher levels. Hydrogen share could be increased to the maximum extent. That was my final goal. Let me go through the phase-wise experimentation. In first phase, hydrogen is being injected in the intake manifold and diesel is being injected in the conventional combustion chamber. With this, I have known the results which depicts the energy efficiency on vertical axis, hydrogen share on the horizontal axis. Try to understand this result, which indicates if you increase the hydrogen energy share, the efficiency, engine efficiency is being increased. Here you can observe the hydrogen energy share calculations. You can go through the details of calculating hydrogen energy share and energy efficiency later, which I have mentioned the formulas. And all these formulas and whatever the slide, whatever the picture I am mentioning, all these pictures are available in public domain in literature. All pictures are Chintala, you will get all pictures in the literature. However, I will provide the summary of these slides to you as well. Okay, let me explain the energy efficiency improvement. With this picture, you can understand with the increase of hydrogen energy share, efficiency of the engine increases. Can you guess any reason why efficiency will increase with the implication of hydrogen?
Sir, combustion is increased with the ignition limits, sir, so that the propagation and the combustion rate has been improved by effectively utilization of the gas fuels.
Okay, very good.
Will not it affect the electric efficiency with introduction of
Yeah, very good, very good. As combustion is having many favorable properties like high amount of energy content. Energy content is 3 times higher, 120 megajoules. So it releases high amount of energy when it is combusted, because of which energy efficiency will increase. Second reason could be as gaseous fuel is being used in the combustion chamber, we can get high amount of homogeneity, and hydrogen is having hydrogen is helpful for rapid combustion. It's flame auto ignition. It's flame speed. Flame speed of hydrogen is very much higher than the diesel. If you burn the diesel or if you burn the petrol, you can see the petrol flame. You can see the petrol flame which is visible in front of your naked eyes. Whereas if you burn the hydrogen, that flame you cannot see. It is invisible, and very rapidly it transfers because of its highest flame speed. Hydrogen flame travels very large. It is nearly equals to 70 meters per second. In 1 second, hydrogen flame travels 70 meters, whereas diesel or petrol or other conventional fuels travels almost 5 meters. 4 to 5 meters in 1 second. So because of this rapid burning properties, entire fuel which is there in the combustion chamber combust very rapidly. So even small amount of hydrogen availability in the combustion chamber helps improvement in the combustion efficiency, helps a proper combustion, helps the proper utilization of the entire fuel, because of which energy efficiency will increase. So if you use small amount of hydrogen, here if you use even 10%, even 17% of hydrogen, efficiency is being increased. If you observe at 100% load with the purple color graph, with the basic diesel engine, efficiency is around 32%. With the employment of 19% of hydrogen, efficiency is almost increased to 35%. So 32 to 35%. So this improvement in efficiency is about 13 to 15%. 15%, say roughly 15% of efficiency is being increased with a small amount of hydrogen. Other reasons I have mentioned here, you can go through later. Not only energy efficiency improvement, not only fuel economy improvement with the hydrogen implication, we can also observe let me explain. Not only with the efficiency, it also helps for the pollution reduction. Let me just go through the slides, figures which are evidential for the efficiency improvement. Here you can see specific energy consumption is being reduced, because of which efficiency, hydrogen energy efficiency is being increased. Ignition delay is being decreased with the hydrogen, so efficiency is being increased. Combustion efficiency, as I mentioned, combustion efficiency will improve with the increasing amount of the hydrogen share. This graph is representing the combustion efficiency, and combustion duration is decreasing. Combustion duration, as the flame speed of the hydrogen is high, so total amount taken by the combustion, which is known as combustion duration, reduces. These are all the evidential proof for higher energy efficiency. This cumulative heat release also increases with the hydrogen, and exergy efficiency will also increase. In cylinder temperature also will increase. This is the combustion parameters, which I will be explaining tomorrow. So I'm skipping now. Yeah, with the energy, with not only energy efficiency benefits, not only fuel economy benefits, we can also achieve the emission benefits. As here it is being mentioned, hydrocarbon emissions with hydrogen energy share. At 18% of energy or 19% of energy share, almost hydrocarbon emissions are zero. You can see on horizontal axis it is zero. Almost hydrocarbon emissions are zero. Smoke emissions are also almost equals to the zero. Carbon monoxide emissions are almost zero with the employment of hydrogen. However, NOx emissions have been increased rapidly, drastically. NOx emissions, oxides of nitrogen emissions are high. So with this slide, I can conclude that all carbon-based emissions are almost zero with the use of hydrogen, whereas NOx emissions are increased drastically. And this graph is representing some combustion parameters, which will be dealing tomorrow. But for today's class, let me conclude with this work. So with the basic configuration of the engine, without changing any major modification, I can use hydrogen amount maximum of 18.8%. Roughly it is about 19% in the engine what I have mentioned, without changing any major modification. In my first phase of experiment, my major conclusion is at rated load, at full load, hydrogen share is 19%. If you want to analyze the any engine assessment, if any vehicle has to come into the market, it is usually tested at the peak loads, at higher loads. In this graph, at lower loads, 25% of load, though hydrogen share is 66%, at 50%, 48%, but it is not being counted for complete analysis, for the rigorous analysis of the hydrogen. So I would be considering at rated load, the maximum hydrogen share is 19%. Now my entire work in future is keeping the target level, minimum target level 19. If I use any technology, any additional technology which increases the hydrogen energy share beyond 19%, then that is being adaptable, that is being suggestible. So with the first phase experiment, I can come to a conclusion of 19% is the maximum amount of hydrogen I can implement in the engine without compromising in the emissions, without compromising in the efficiency. Now my second phase experiments with the different technologies. One is retarded injection timing. Retarded injection timing is basically the time diesel fuel is being injected at particular time. This particular time is being slowed down in order to enhance the hydrogen energy share. As time is limited, I'm not going through the detailed reasoning why we need to retard in order to increase the hydrogen energy share. If you want to go through, you can refer my papers, you can clearly understand. So for this experimentation, I have retarded about 1.7 degree crank angle, which is being mentioned here in a purple color. For increasing the hydrogen in the engine, another technology, another strategy that I employed is retarding the injection, diesel injection, retarding the diesel injection by 1.7 degree crank angle. Means slowing down the injection timing, slowing down the diesel fuel injection by using some modification in the pump, fuel injection pump. So with this results, I can assess that with this, the fourth graph you can understand here, with the retarded injection timing at 100% load, the energy share has been increased to 21%. Earlier it was 19%, 18.88%. Now with this technology, the energy share has been increased to 21%. Third technology I have employed by using the fuel, by injecting the fuel, diesel fuel in the intake manifold. I have injected small amount of diesel fuel in the intake manifold, which is reflecting the homogeneous charge. By inducing the homogeneous charge, I am referring how much amount of hydrogen can be enhanced. So with this technology, I can increase the hydrogen energy share to 23%. Earlier it was 18%. Now it is 23% by gaseous homogeneous hydrogen, homogeneous charge technology. I'm not going through the details how HCCI has been achieved and what are the modifications done. Just I'm taking out the summary of the experimentation for comparative assessment purpose. And the fourth technology that I have inducted is water. Water has been injected in the engine in order to enhance the hydrogen share. These are the results with the water injection. I have compared the efficiency terms as well as emissions terms. Efficiency and then all pollutants. Without compromising in the efficiency and pollutants benefits, I can increase the energy share to 48%, from 18.8% to 48% with the water induction technology. Let me conclude. Yeah. Let me conclude all the experimentation in second phase. In second phase, I have conducted with the retarded injection timing and with biodiesel implementation 20%, and with retarded injection timing 21%, and with gaseous HCCI technology 24%, and with water injection with this amount of water 68%, but with the 340 this is the water quantity level. 480 gram per kilowatt hour is the water quantity and 340 is also water quantity. In the water injection experimentation, I have used the different quantities of water, different amounts of water. For 340 gram per kilowatt hour, what is the hydrogen energy share? For 480 gram per kilowatt hour, what is the hydrogen energy share in hand? So like that, I have taken some couple of water shares, and I have compared the maximum hydrogen energy share. If I observe in the entire second phase experimentation, I can assess that efficient hydrogen energy is being increased from 19% to 48%. Now with the third phase of experiment, with changing the compression ratios, compression ratio have changed to original engine has 19.5:1 is the original compression ratio, modified to 16.51 and 15.5, 15.54. So these are the modified. With this again I have compared with the different hydrogen energy shares. Yeah, with this change in compression ratios, first one 16.5 from 19.5 to 16.5 I have reduced. With this maximum hydrogen that I can substitute is 59%, and with the further reduction of compression ratio to 15.54, the maximum share, hydrogen share was about 63%. Now for the optimum case, optimum means without compromising the efficiency, engine efficiency, and without compromising the pollutant benefits, emission benefits, the maximum hydrogen energy share can be achieved with the compression ratio modification is 59%, this one, and with the employment of second phase strategies at optimum conditions of efficiency and emissions, the maximum hydrogen energy share of 48% with water injection of 340 grams, with water of 340 grams. Now with these two optimum conditions, again I have conducted the fourth phase experiments, where again I have measured the efficiency terms, combustion terms, and emission terms. All these are emission terms. So without compromising the efficiency and emissions terms, the maximum amount of energy share is being increased to 79% from with the conditions of 16.5:1, this compression ratio, and with the water amount of 340 grams, the maximum energy share increased to 79%. Now a remarkable improvement can be observed if you compare from whatever the technology you use, the main motto is enhance the efficiency, hydrogen share without affecting the efficiency, without affecting the emissions. The detailed conclusions I have mentioned here. With phase one, what are the benefits in terms of efficiencies and in terms of emissions? Similarly, with all second phase and third phase experiments, I have mentioned the benefits and limitations. Thank you. If you have any queries, you can kindly raise. Still, you may go with 5 more minutes. Already we have crossed the time, 5 minutes. Now time for your queries. Any question and answers?
Sir, what about the safety issues, sir? The same amount of hydrogen is being supplied, right, sir? Only the energy share is increased by the reduction of diesel fuel and other all modifications.
Yes.
So there is no increase of supply of hydrogen, right, sir?
Yeah. Here safety issues, safety concerns, we didn't change any kind of safety elements as compared to the conventional dual fuel engine. Conventional dual fuel engine, as per safety concern, we have used the flashback arresters and flame arresters, and these flashback and flame arresters we have kept at different levels. One is the point where fuel is being injected. Immediately at the spot of fuel injection, we kept one flashback arrestor. If by mistake any fire is being back towards the cylinder, towards the upstream, then you can arrest there itself. Another flashback arrestor is being located at the supply of the fuel, where hydrogen cylinder is being located. There we have kept one flashback arrestor. So there also the fire which is coming out of the engine can be arrested. Fortunately, this kind of fire back or any fire incidents was not happen, because ample number of times I have operated the engine with higher amount of hydrogen ratios. Running the engine with 80% of energy share is not a small task. It is definitely is having challenge with the concerns, safety concerns. With safety concerns, we can operate the engine with high amount of energy shares also. This was the remarkable change that we compare.
Shall I ask one more doubt, sir?
Yes.
Sir, that is, you told that you have achieved the HCCI mode by supplying the hydrogen in the intake manifold. Sir, it is meant that when we are supplying in the intake manifold, the time taken for the hydrogen and the diesel mixture formation will be sufficiently good, so that HCCI achieve, or any other special arrangements for HCCI in.
Yeah. So in gas HCCI technology, in intake manifold, along with the hydrogen, I have also inducted the diesel. Diesel also inducted in the intake manifold, not in the combustion chamber. The conventional diesel injector I have removed. I have removed the conventional diesel injector, and I have kept additional diesel fuel injector in the intake manifold. So both diesel and gas, both are inducted in the intake manifold. With the induction of the diesel in the intake stroke, we will get more amount of time to get vaporized and to get mixed the diesel vapor with the hydrogen. So with this provision of high amount of time, you can achieve high amount of homogeneity.
Sir, did you do any special test for confirmation of that homogeneity, sir?
Yes, yes. I have measured the combustion parameters, based on which we can assess that homogeneity is being increased.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. It's a nice presentation.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sir, this is Krishna Prasad.
Yes, please.
My question is, sir, where do you see IC engines in the next 10 years? Because whenever I meet with some of the senior faculties who are working under IC engine or something like that, they should tell that like electrical vehicles are coming into the market, so IC engine market will be reduced, and in the days to come, I think small wagons especially will be replaced almost everything by the electrical vehicles from IC engine. So me being young right now, so I'm working in the same alternative fuel field right now for my research. So I'm a little scared to continue with the same field, or should I change my field to some other thing or something like that. So there's a lot of confusion. We need little clarity from you so that I can get some clarity and.
Okay. Yeah. I could understand little bit because your voice is not clear. However, as I understand, hope if I am not wrong, you was mentioning that in the days to come, it is the scenario for electric vehicles. Now, hydrogen IC engine technology may be obsolete. Whether to continue in the field of alternative fuels or switch over to another field. This was your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Yeah, this concern is there with everyone, those who are in the engine domain, who are in the transportation domain, especially engine experts. This concern is there. Let me say my perspective may not be favorable to others or may not be matching with others. Engine technology is not going to be obsolete. Engine technology is not going to be obsolete because the applications of engines are wide. Like power generation sector, we do use engine technology. Marine, we use engine technology. Railways, we use engine technology. And small applications, irrigation, agriculture sector, we use engine technology. Though you use electric vehicles or fuel cell based vehicles in transportation sector, some amount of segment, some field, some sector may capture electricity based vehicles or fuel cell based vehicles or some other kind of technology. But completely we cannot eradicate the internal combustion engines from our society. In irrigation, where agriculture farmer cannot use fuel cell, cannot use electric based vehicles in his application. For water lifting, irrigation, they use engines, those are diesel engines. In mobile towers, you can see various kinds of towers, not only mobile, some other kinds of towers, where they use generator sets for local power supply. There also they use localized generator sets, engine technology. So the engine technology never be eradicated. We have future, we have value. Engine people, engine experts have people value in the days to come. It is constant. Maybe sometime it may reduce. This is my first concern. Second concern, let me complete second concern. Electric vehicles, if your electric vehicle concerned, development of electric infrastructure in the Indian context, as per the Indian context, is far difficult. We may not reach to the remote places. We may not reach to the villages. We kept the target by 2030. The electric infrastructure may be reached to the almost of all metropolitan cities. It is not that much easy. This is second aspect. Third aspect, let me say third aspect and conclude. Third aspect is with electric vehicles, a big question about pollution, CO2 pollution. If electricity is being supplied from the renewable sources, then it is okay. Either wind power, wind energy sources, tidal energy sources, solar energy sources are being used for electricity generation. It is okay. But if you use conventional power, definitely CO2, greenhouse gas emission concern, electric vehicle, switching electric vehicles is not at all feasible, not at all advisable. Fourth issue is related to the battery. At one point of time, disposal of the batteries is a bigger concern. Disposal of PV cells, solar PV modules is a bigger concern, even if you generate electricity by using solar energy. Now itself, there is a big concern. There is a huge waste generation in terms of solar panels. Solar panels having metals, non-metals, plastics. So huge disposal, waste disposal concerns are there. I'm working in the field of waste to energy technologies, where I do present some of the slides in the days to come, maybe in tomorrow or day after tomorrow in that area also. That time I will again highlight this issue. So these are the concerns where electricity or fuel cell based vehicles may capture some amount of segment, but not the total. Yeah, please, your question.
Yes, sir. Sorry, yes, sir. Sorry for interrupting. Sorry for interrupting. So, thank you, sir. Thank you for your nice and valuable session. We really admired by your session. So now we are going to start the third session also on biofuels for IC engines, biofuels used in IC engines, because the expert is waiting now. So we will have a 15 minutes break. I have sent separate link for the third session also. You can see your WhatsApp group. In the WhatsApp group, separate link has been given for this GoToMeeting app for the third session on biofuels. You can go through that link and you can join with that link. So session will start shortly at 4 o'clock. So if you have any other doubts also, you can please send through WhatsApp. If possible, at the end of the FTP, we will try to clear your doubts. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you for joining. And again, we will meet for the third session at 4 o'clock. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Venkat sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. We'll meet you again.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And we will be hearing, sir, for 2 more sessions, if possible. So in that also, you can ask the doubts in that session. Thank you.
Hey, 100 class.